Good morning and welcome to CSL Texas Hill Country. I'm Reverend Beth Warren, the spiritual leader here, and I will be giving the lesson for today. And our theme this month has been living in harmony with life. And each week we have talked about different ways that we can do that. And this week, while I was preparing for this talk, a song kept running through my head, and it may have been after I had talked to Diana about it, but the song lyrics are, you've got to be the light if you want to see the light, because you reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. So I had a debate with myself over what the title of the talk would be. I wanted to say, give a little bit of that good thing, or do I talk about to see the light, you've got to be the light? Well, I'm going to let you all decide what the title is of this talk is once I finish it. So just keep in mind, it could have two different titles. But starting off with some of the writings from Ernest Holmes, toward the back of the Science of Mind textbook, he talks about the teachings of the New Testament. And he especially discusses Matthew 10:8. And it talks about freely ye have received, freely give. And Ernest Holmes writes this: when the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us on and out that we really express. The law of giving and receiving is definite. Emerson tells us to beware of holding too much good in our hands. When our thoughts rest entirely upon ourselves, we become abnormal and unhappy. But when we give ourselves with enthusiasm to any legitimate purpose, losing ourselves in the thing which we are doing, we become normal and happy. Let those who are sad, depressed, or unhappy find some altruistic purpose into which they may pour their whole beings, and that they will find a new inflow of life of which they have never dreamed. And the Dalai Lama once said, the more we take the welfare of others to heart and work for their benefit, the more benefit we derive for ourselves. This is a fact that we can see. So really today, we're going to look at giving a part of that good thing, which according to our spiritual masters places us squarely and happily in the flow of God's glorious good. And that is what I call living in harmony with life. Specifically this morning, I want to give two examples of what happens when you give a little bit of that good thing, how you might want to think about giving that good thing, and finally, what good things might you want to give? Remember this, you got to give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. So what happens when you give a little bit of that good thing? Well, I'm going to start off with a story. I don't know if it's a true story or not, but it does illustrate what happens when you give. And in this story, the good thing is the benefit of the doubt. There was a monastery that had fallen on hard times. And once a great order, now only 5 monks, remained in the broken down building. The abbot and 4 others, all over 70 years of age. Clearly, it was a dying order. And one day, the abbot goes to a wise rabbi who lives in the same forest where the monastery is located, and he went there to ask the rabbi for advice. And the rabbi says, I have no advice to give you. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you. The abbot goes back and tells everyone that the rabbi really had no advice, but that he told him that one of them was the Messiah, or is the Messiah. And each monk begins to contemplate this. And if that's the case, who is it? Could it be the abbot? Yeah. If the rabbi meant anyone, he probably meant the abbot. He has been the leader of this order for more than a generation. And he is very wise and very kind and very godly. But then the rabbi might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly, Brother Thomas is a holy man. He is a man of virtue, love, and great spiritual strength. Certainly could not have met Brother Eldred. Eldred gets crotchety at times, but comes to think of it, even though he's a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Brother Eldred is virtually always right, often very right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Eldred. But surely he did not mean Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then some come to think of it, Philip has a gift for mysteriously always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side. And his soft countenance is so smoothing and healing. Maybe Brother Philip is the Messiah. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet, supposing he did, supposing I am the Messiah. And as they contemplated this matter, the old monks began to treat one another with extraordinary respect and reverence. And on the off chance that the one they were currently dealing with was the Messiah, they were kind and caring and thoughtful and appreciative. And on the off chance that each monk himself was the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect and kindness as well. Because the forest in which the monastery was situated was a beautiful place, people occasionally came to visit it and to picnic on their tiny lawn and to wander all among the paths around the place, even now and then to go into the dilapidated chapel to meditate. And as they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed the aura of extraordinary respect and anew now began to surround the 5 old monks. And they seemed to radiate out from them the permanent atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, people began to come back to the monastery more frequently to picnic and to play and to pray. And they began to bring their friends and to show them this special place. And their friends brought their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them. Then another, and another. And within a short few years, thanks to the rabbi's gift, the monastery had once again become a thriving order and vibrant center of light and spirituality. Now that story came from Chicken Soup, Book 2. And those stories in the Chicken Soup for the Soul are supposed to be true. I don't know if it is or not, but that's where I got it. But each monk gave the other the benefit of the doubt and sowed the simple seeds of respect and kindness and appreciation, both to their fellow monks and to themselves. And look what they reaped. Their monastery, which was dying, was brought back to life. Now, a second story is definitely a true story. and another story of what happens when we choose to be a giver to life. This time, the good thing given was financial support wrapped in compassion. In his young years, Abraham Lincoln had intuitive knowings that meaningful work lay ahead for him. He knew he would need to refine his intellect and acquire professional skills if he were to fulfill his destiny. And of course, in the frontier environment, the tools or opportunities were not available for professional development. So Lincoln had no idea how this was going to happen for him. But one day a stranger came by with a barrow full of odds and ends and old newspapers, and he offered to sell the lot to Lincoln for $1. Realizing the man was needy, out of kindness, Abraham Lincoln gave him the $1, although he had no idea what was in the barrel. And when he later cleaned out the barrel, he found among the junk an almost complete edition of Blackstone's commentaries. These books helped Lincoln become a lawyer and eventually enter politics. Now, this story is written in many books. You've probably heard it before. But in Larry Doty's book, Prayer is Good Medicine, he writes this: the reverence and kindness Lincoln felt for another created an opening for a life-changing event that otherwise might not have happened. Lincoln did not get zapped during prayer with a sudden revelation of his life's work. Humble ingredients, a barrel of junk, a stranger down on his luck, $1, and Lincoln's innate compassion combined unspectacularly to help shape the destiny of a nation and affect millions of people. You never know what your compassion might bring. But I think those are two powerful examples of the idea of giving and receiving. And in the Bible, it says, freely ye have received, freely give. And in Science of Mind, it's written, when the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us on and out that we really express the law of giving and receiving. The law of giving and receiving is definite. That is the way it works. You reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. So have a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. So how shall we give that good thing? The energy you give to your giving is very important, vitally important. To reap that good thing, you absolutely must give with the intention of serving, of creating happiness for both you and the receiver. Give with a happy heart. This is the life-supporting energy that generates increase. If you give with a feeling that you have lost something, then the gift is not truly given, and the law of giving and receiving is stagnated. If you give grudgingly, the energy behind your gift will benefit no one. The Lord loveth a cheerful giver. Law serves a free and willing giver. Give with a happy heart with no strings attached. You do not give with a demand to receive. You give unconditionally, knowing that giving puts you in the flow of God's abundant good. So what good things might you give? Eric Butterworth wrote this in his books. The reason why so many people receive little is because they give out so little. They are poverty-stricken because they refuse to give. Whatever the nature of your possessions, give and give abundantly. You are to give of your life, interest, energy, thought, ability, love, appreciation, and helpfulness. In giving of your life, thought, and love, in doing gladly and well whatever you may be called upon to do, you express your best. And the more you give, the more you receive. If today you believe your abilities are small and your powers insignificant, begin now to make a more thorough use of them, and they will grow. So what do you give? Simple. Give what you would like to receive. Do not give so that you will receive, but give what you desire to have more of in your life. If you want a friend, be a friend. If you want joy, give joy. If you want love, give love. If you want attention and appreciation, give attention and appreciation. And the easiest way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. If you want to be blessed with all the good things in life, learn to silently bless everyone with all the good things in life. It's called divine circulation. Make sure that you will give everyone you meet or come in contact with something, a compliment, a smile, a blessing, a prayer, compassion. The thing to strive for is to change the balance. Put a little more in than you take out. That way the pool will be larger and there will be more for everyone to draw from. Go that extra mile in any situation. Find a way to give. I want to conclude by sharing with you a portion of an article by Jesse Jennings, who's the minister in Spring, Texas, outside of Houston. And it was written in the Science of Mind magazine back in September of '98. And it was called The Test of Time. I've discovered that a lot of things that didn't make the least bit of sense to me when I first encountered the Science of Mind teaching now makes more sense than anything else before or since. Two examples are unconditional love and the circulation of money. These new ideas seem to be putting the cart before the horse, if not dispensing with the horse altogether. How could I love someone without the guarantee of being loved back, or give away my supply when I might later need it? Yet, what emerges from the steady practice of the alternative life makes me almost forget there ever was a time when I felt I could not trust the universe. Love is the risk that brave people take. Love is always returned, often from unexpected sources. And all the good I could possibly imagine is already at hand. And by giving generously of what I have, I open myself up to experience more. So Science of Mind moves from being a technique to a whole way of being, of thinking, of feeling, and acting as though the very best of everything is fully, magnificently present and turning the next corner to find that, in fact, it is. Are you ready to be a giver? To use the gifts that you have been given and to be in the flow of God's good? I am. Won't you join me? And so it is.